Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's time to take a look at Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Jean-Francois and Jonathan are here to tell us all about it. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I think we're going to jump right into the gameplay. What are we going to see today?
Today we're going to see the first map of Mankind Divided. It's set in Dubai. And after that, we're going to show a bit of Breach, the new gameplay mode that we announced like a week ago.
Right, very cool. So I think right off the get, we just made a decision.
I was looking.
I know, me too.
Gameplay's over here.
The game's not playing.
So yeah, it's the beginning of the game at this point, and what is important to us is to set the new fantasy of Adam Jensen, because it's the returning main character of the last game, and now he works for a division of Interpol called Task Force 29, and they are on a mission to go stop a smuggling deal in the desert, and they hope that they will be able to stop some of the bad guys to
using some sort of
portray
portable
other terrorist acts and things like that. So what is really important at this point is really knowing who you are, in what world you are, etc. We're 2 years after Human Revolution, and now there's a bigger divide between augmented citizen and naturals. And because at the end of the last game, everything went crazy with augmented citizens, and now the world is kind of taking a step back and trying to understand what happened, but now there's a lot of restrictive laws and everything. So we're trying to bridge the gap with this first map between the last game and the new game. Like, it's kind of the end of the dream, and now we're entering into a darker...
thematically speaking, it even serves that purpose. It's the, we had the whole thing about the Icarus myth in Human Revolution, and like Jeff just said, it's really bridging the kind of like the two analogies that we have between the two games. So this is kind of the end of the golden era. It's the end of the cyber renaissance. It's the end of the Icarus myth. The sun is actually setting. Adam, what's going to happen there? He's kind of like Icarus, kind of plummeting to his death. Obviously, Adam is not going to
falling into the sea.
He's falling into the sea, but but Icarus ended up dying. But Adam's not going to die because he never dies, never dies. But yeah, that's a bit the whole idea.
Guy knows how to make an entrance.
Yeah, he gotten good at it.
Now, before we left the aircraft, the player was making some choices, right? Choosing whether to go lethal or non-lethal.
Yeah, exactly. What is important at the beginning of the game, since it's a game you can play the way you want, like you can be stealthy, you can be going combat, you can be going lethal or non-lethal. And what we want is to give a first glimpse to the player of like what are the playing styles out there, and that's why we ask the question. So when you start the game, you're going to think like, what kind of player am I? Like, what kind of experience I want to go through? Although even when you make those choices, you're not forced to stay there. Like, what is really important in Deus Ex is that you can always play the way you want. So if you fail at one approach, then you can rely on other means, and that's what is really important for the experience.
So is it more of a symbolic choice just to let people know that they're different?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
It's a big classic thing in Deus Ex games as well. Like every Deus Ex game has started with, you want, what do you want, this or that, right? So,
So now we're showcasing a little bit of the stealth, but it's a very more aggressive stealth approach. So we're not just only hiding, but we're staying as a ghost, but we're taking down all enemies.
And we're not killing anybody now.
Yeah, at this point we're just like cloaking, and we just use our new gun arm called the Tesla, and it allows you to electrify up to 4 enemies at once. They're not dead. We use the tranquilizer gun as well, and now we have the stun gun basically. And the stun gun, the difference with the Tesla gun is the fact that you have only one bullet at the time, and it's only short range. So what is interesting in there compared to the Tesla gun is the fact that as a player, you might decide to put your experience points, your praxis points, into other augmentations. Let's say you don't want to use the gun arm, you want to go with the small gun, but it's very limited in terms of possibilities. But if you take those points and you put it on the gun arms, you will have more flexibility, but it's other augmentations you won't be able to use, that kind of stuff. And now it was the Pep's gun arm. Another non-lethal.
What's interesting about this map as well, visually speaking, is, Human Revolution had the black and gold palette, what we called it, the black and gold, which kind of represented the Renaissance and a whole bunch of other stuff. But this era, like Jeff was saying, is now finished, and it's the end of it in Mankind Divided. So the first map, Dubai, the gold is still very much present, but as you move forward, it starts kind of decimating more and more and more, and then you transfer, you kind of get into the mankind divided world, which is now a lot more gray, bluer. It's what we call the corporate feudalism, and this new mechanical apartheid, basically.
Miller.
So what triggered that? Was it multiple takedown?
It's the player. Definitely, you can take down enemies when you get close to them. So what just happened is that the player was totally stealthy with the cloak, so the guys didn't see him approach, and he just, like, when he was close enough, he was able to take them down. So takedowns are back, and one of the things now, he just went frontal and performed the takedown in front of them, but in Mankind Divided now you can do takedowns from cover, so it's much more fluid. You can stay into the action without having to pulling out of cover, going to the takedown, things like that. So it's much more fluid than it was. And hacking is back. It's similar to what we had in the Human Revolution. And but this time around, like, security systems are much more tighter. They have booby traps, things like that. And as a player, you also have more softwares that you can use to circumvent the challenges. And I would say that it's more tactical this time around. Not as easy as it was in Human Revolution. So if you want to be a hacker, you'll have more tools and you will need them.
I see.
So now we're getting to the meeting point where there's supposed to be a smuggling deal. And Jensen is working directly with his other task force agents, and they're already in position. And now they have to coordinate to know when to come in and to stop the bad guys from completing the smuggling deal.
So you said this picks up 2 years after Human Revolution.
It's 2 years after, yes.
But for anyone that didn't play that game, are they going to be able to sort of hop right into this and not be too confused? What's going on?
It's one of our goals. When we started to work on this game, it's like, okay, how do we make a direct sequel without leaving people behind who didn't play the first game? And that's why it's important, the first mission, when there's the briefing, understanding who you are. You're this agent in this task force organization, and you're there to stop, like, terrorist threats and things like that. So for us, it was really important to show it, portray it in a standalone way. But at the same time, as you start to progress in the game itself and you go to your own apartment, you have readables, or you have contact with old friends of the old game or even the new game, and they explain a little bit the world, the motivation of the characters. So it kind of like, it's a mix between being totally new and also for those who played Human Revolution, they will feel at home at the same time. So we're trying to find a right balance between the two. And when you start the game, we also ask you if you want to watch a recap video that explains what happened during Human Revolution. So
It's like a 12-minute long recap video.
Exactly. So now the way what we're saying, it's that we just got the cutscene. You didn't see it all, like, for the purpose of this moment. But there's a third party that came into the smuggling deal, and they attacked by surprise. And nobody knows who those people are. And they're trying to steal the chopper with the content, and they're trying to go away. And as the player, and with Task Force 29, you're trying to stop them. And the thing is, like, now you're seeing the Sandstorm and everything. Depending on how you play this map, you might be able to totally complete it before the Sandstorm hits. Or if you take your time, or you're held up by some things, then you can get there, and there's the Sandstorm, and now visibility is reduced, and even enemy accuracy is reduced, and things like that, and the chopper will take more time to take off.
Interesting.
So there are many ways to play, and there are many potential outcomes that come with it.
Very cool. How long can we expect, like, a level to take? I know it can vary.
It varies greatly in the game.
It's if we take the map we just seen, usually it's between 30 minutes to an hour, depending.
It takes me, I play stealth all the time. I can spend like 2 hours in a map. It's the kind of game that
we can help you protect it.
Our
state-of-the-art Blade server farms offer unparalleled security in a world that's teeming with
uncertainty. All right, so now I think we're going to see breach mode, is that right?
The most advanced physical and digital security systems in the world. The data you store at the power state
what the breach mode is, and for us it was a way to do something totally new, totally different, like a little bit left field. We have been playing with the idea of doing a kind of a challenge mode since the days of Human Revolution, but back in those times, like the studio was smaller, we didn't have the resources to go left and right, so it's something that we never pursued, but this time around with Mankind Divided, we had the luxury to go a bit farther with that, and
it's also we mastered what a Deus Ex was so much better. Like we're so much more in control of our game, of the franchise now, that we kind of also allowed ourselves to explore a bit more, kind of out of left field, like you're saying.
And Breach is basically you're going into those virtual reality kind of server rooms where a lot of corporations in 2029 are storing their data, all the personal information that they don't want the people to see. And your fantasy in there, you play as a Ripper, and a Ripper is kind of a hacker in the virtual reality world. And think about those people like the Robin Hoods of the digital era. They're trying to make sure that the secrets are not staying secret, that the people can have access to that. So it keeps corporations in line, and it keeps them honest and whatnot. So
does it?
We'll see. And yeah, so you go into that mode, and you can extract some of the data, unravel some conspiracies in the world that connects to the Deus Ex world, or you can just go there to really like go for the challenge, be the best in the leaderboards. You can also send challenges to your friends, modifying some of the map's conditions, and if your friend accepts it, then and he beats the challenge, he gets the point and he climbs up in the leaderboard, or if he fails, you succeed, you get the points and you're climbing up.
It's super fun. I mean, the live team, the guys who spent like the past couple of years working on that, did an amazing job. They had to work with crazy constraints, obviously. You know, it's a really great mode. And for me, as the executive art director, the great thing is the art direction, because it allowed us to start having fun with, like, you know, after almost 10 years of doing Deus Ex and kind of having to follow the rules that we've set for ourselves. Even though we're the ones who set the rules, it kind of gets a little, you know, a routine after a while. And this was such a great kind of breath of fresh air.
John was able to prove that there's other colors than black and gold, but there's only one shape still, it's triangles.
Yeah, of course. Nothing else. Thank you, Jeff.
So is the actual gameplay in Breach similar to gameplay in the main game?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same pillars. It's mainly combat and stealth with the augmentations, the weapons.
I mean, the pacing is totally different.
Yes.
But the foundational mechanics, you know, I mean, we try to do it like in a, you know, we try to work intelligently, right? That's
we try.
We try. Yeah. So there was a bit of making sure that we're using the tools that we have on hand, using the knowledge that we have, the mechanics that we have, give them a new coding, a new setting, a new pace,
an arcade twist,
a new twist, and I think it worked beautifully, really. Yeah.
So you describe it as a challenge mode.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the challenges? This is like eliminate a target.
Well, you have to extract data. Sometimes it's data towers. Sometimes it's pieces that you have to collect in the world. And the conditions can be different. Like, it can be all about how fast you are, how much data you're able to extract. There are different modifiers. Like, I can't remember like by heart all of them, but there's like
not getting detected, not getting caught.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty much that, and for the breach mode was a good way to do something different while staying Deus Ex and while not like
and expanding the universe.
Yeah, exactly, and
showing
not
that
fooling around
there's
with
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also just like enriches the product, right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
You get your main Deus Ex game, then you get this bonus challenge mode.
That's it.
And it comes on the disc. It's with Mankind Divided.
Perfect,
It's just a mode that's in the game.
It's actually, I should say that it's also our first live mode, meaning that we're going to collect the data of the players as they play, and we'll be able to react, and we'll also unleash new content after the release of the game, which is nice as well.
Awesome. Gentlemen, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is looking great. We don't have to wait too much longer to play the final game, do we?
August 23rd.
August 23rd. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Stay tuned. Much more to come from IGN Live here at E3 2016 after this.